No joke today. Sorry, folks. Carry on. Hello and welcome to Assorted Meeples. I'm Phillip, the Meeple on duty, and today I am racing a dead battery shortage and talking about two great games that are both have the same title but are completely different beasts altogether. Now, going back to what I said in the unboxing, this is not a 2.0 type of deal. This is calling this Redux here, Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux, a simple 2.0 would be like calling a modern car a horseless carriage at this point, to give you guys a good understanding of how much has changed and what is different. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack both these games open. I'm going to run you through quick how you play these games. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to do that from a top view so you can see it really well. And then I'm going to go to kind of my thoughts and what I see has happened in it. So we're just going to jump right into it. As you can see, I have both games on the table set up as basically a single player game. On the left is the original. On the right is the Redux. With the original, you have two workshops where you can put down boats, and then down across the bottom you can put down up to 4 workers that can be matching or not. At the beginning of a round, you're going to draw cards plus the one plus the number of players, and then as the first player you're going to look at the cards. You're going to pick one, set it down, pass them. You're going to do that 3 times till you have 3 cards in your hand, and then from the starting player all the way around the table, you're going to play your 3 cards. Now, you either have to discard them or you have to play them down in front of you if there's a cost associated with them, like this one is. It says 4 gold, and you get to place a wood, a wool, and a iron on top of this card, and anytime you trade for it, trade for resources, you can also take one or all of the one extra of the same type. Now, you have to trade 2 gold to do a trade, which is on the back of the stack here. You have to trade 2 gold and 2 workers, and you could either pick up 2 iron, a sheep or a wool, or a wood. Those are the 3, plus the gold is the other type of resource. You're going to go around the table until you hit the evening. Then you're going to check to see if you're at the limit of workers, and you're going to check to see if you're at the limit of your things. You are going to continue that cycle until one player has built 4 ships by the end of the end of the round. Once that does, you score points based on this plus your buildings, and whoever has the most is the winner. Now, ships you're going to put down, they require resources of all sorts of types. So gold, workers, wood, wool, and iron. And then once they're built, they either have a military strength or they're a merchant class. And then they give you boosts to your either your mill or your villager count to hold at the end of each round. Once they're built, they come down here right alongside your buildings. That way you can find them easy. Build buildings, you have to use the gold and workers required. Now, you also have craftsmen. Craftsmen help build boats. Each boat has its own requirements of what you need. The carve requires a stonemason and a wood carver. And then you sit there, you need all the resources plus the builders or the craftsmen. Once they're in front of you, they cannot be picked up until they are used, and you only get 4 of them under your board. Another type besides the tools and buildings, which you put down in front of you, they give you points at the end of the game. Watchman is these grayback cards. This one is the Watchman. You cannot be attacked until your next turn. These cards mess with other players or give you boons in the form of resources and things like that. This is where the take that element of this game comes from. And that is basically how you play it. And you just keep going until somebody has 4 ships completed at the end of the turn. It can draw out long if people are playing very meanly with those. Now let's move on to the basic gameplay of this one. You have your, instead of having your player board like this, you now have this guy. This is your player board where you can play cards down. You can only place workers and ships down on here, or craftsmen and ships down on here. If you place a craftsman on here, he is a one-use only craftsman at that point, and you can use either, here I'll show you the craftsman card. They have their primary, and then they have their backup, which you can use 1 silver to use that backup. Now if they're up here, they're a one-time use. If you pay a gold and you have an open slot and you can slide them under here, now you have this for the rest of the game. Your laborer, for discarding a card and paying a gold, becomes any craftsman that you need him to be to build a ship. Now, there are a couple of places where you can put a worker down and get either pay 2 gold or 2 silver for a gold, or put him down to get a 2 silver. If you put a card down on top of him, any worker placed here goes to the middle. Buildings in this game have become much more valuable in that they give you a place to put your workers to gain resources. And also they give you a place to tuck other workers under to create a bigger engine. There are, besides the craftsmen, there are jarls who give you victory points at the end of the game. And they advance you on the track once you put them down up here. So this one, the 2 horns, put you on the renown track, which brings you up. When you get to these, you can upgrade these guys on the trade track. Once you get here, you get one of these trade deals. These trade deals get you things at the end of the game. Or not at the end of the game, at nighttime. Immediately you would get 3 silver. And then every nighttime or nighttime, you would get an extra wool. And that sits to this side, I do believe. And it just continues and continues. Or do you need, merchant contracts go under boats, I do believe. So that is how those work. And then the military track here up here on top. Once you get to one of these, either 4, 8, 12, you get to flip over a raid card, and this becomes into your thing. Now, if you go raid, you either have, if your strength is only 4, you have to pay 2 workers. If it's 7 or greater, you only play 1. If it's 10 or greater, you play no workers. But you would flip this over, and you would get the resources listed down here, which in this case is an iron, a sheep, and 2 silver. You can use that once a turn. Every evening, those things are refreshed. You still have the boats, which the boats would get played in the middle here. This card cannot be played in here. Neither can the, I forget what these guys are called, but they have a brown border. These guys do a lot of really powerful things. Like this one, they have to go under here, but you could spend a gold to get, 2, 4, 6 silver. Now the fun part about this is in the first game, if you had a card you couldn't play, you had to discard it. You didn't get anything from it. Now, if you don't like a card you have drafted or it doesn't work for you anymore, when you discard it, you get at least 1 resource when you discard it, which is absolutely fabulous. You always get something from it. This game's drafting is a little different. I should finish. The ship, you have the requirements that are needed. You have what it discards. When you build it, you get points. You also get to move up on tracks, and then most of them have some other benefits as well. So this one, you get 2 points for every renown rune that you have. So 1, 2, 3 possibly. When you build a ship, it goes up top, and you can slide under those merchant agreements. This game lasts for 5 rounds now, and you're doing everything you can in those 5 rounds. At the beginning of the game, you are going to draw... Nope, that one stays. At the beginning of each round, you're going to flip one of these new ones, and it is going to tell you if you are playing solo or 2 or 3 players with a dummy. The dummy would go up those, and they would get victory points. And this is the turn order for the round of how you pass the cards during drafting. This is also sets the market price and gives you a reminder of the things you can do regularly. So gold at the end of the game is worth 1 VP by itself. Gold also qualifies as a wild resource. It can be any of the other 3. And you can trade a set for a gold anytime you need to. Beginning of the game, you're going to draw 5 cards. You're going to look at them. You're going to pick 2, pass, and so forth until you have 6 cards in your hand. Every time you pass, you draw an extra card, so you come up to the right number. Keep 2, pass until you have 6. Now, once you have your 6 cards, everybody is going to play at the same time. Playing all the cards, you either discard them or you play them down in front of you. There's no longer waiting for somebody else's turn. You're going as you need to. And that is basically everything that you need to play the game. Alrighty, now seeing those differences set out in front of you and how the 2 games play and are different, what he really did keep was the skeleton. This game, a quick look will show you that this is the same game. You have the core drafting of how you get your cards. You have the craftsman needed for building. You have the different buildings and things like that were all there from the first one. But this also shows that Shipwrights was his debut game, and it does show a little bit in the simplicity of it. There are a lot of take that elements to it of the different, not craftsmen, villager cards that really move and disrupt a person's play style and what they're doing and can really drag the game out. That's another thing. It has unlimited rounds. So this game takes, if you get very cutthroaty, it will take a long time for a long game. One player takes and does all their actions, then the next player around the table. Now, Shipwrights Redux, it gets rid of the take that elements from the game. You can build a strategy, you can build an engine, and you're not going to get just shafted by your opponents taking stuff away from you right when you're ready to, like a ship, destroying a ship right before you build it. You're not going to have that problem anymore. The 3 tracks in the middle feel like a very natural evolution of the game with tracking the renown, the military strength, and the trading scores. Those give a lot of different things that allow you to do create different strategies and different ways to just buff stuff up. I really appreciate that it went from you can have 2 ships out at once and you can have 4 craftsmen down to you can have 5 cards in front of you, but buildings don't count once they're built and they don't have to go on the line. You just build them out, and then you can slide either craftsmen or villagers under there to make those buildings more powerful. I love the fact that buildings now have a purpose besides points and pulling you away from building ships. You still have to draft your cards. You still have to play them all on the first or all on the turn, but you are now going simultaneous, and you can take as many actions as you need to have stuff available for, and really develop a deeper strategy than you can with the original Shipwrights. This is just a preliminary rulebook read. I have not got it to the table to see how it plays at 2 players yet. Me and Heather want to. We got to sit down and see when that happens. We've had a bout of sickness just trample through the house and the kids, and so it's been a little bit more difficult to get that done. Do I think that Redux could have happened on his first go? I don't think so. I don't think he had the developer, or he had developed the tool set to create Redux from scratch, even if he had kept developing it. I think at the time that was his best skill set that he had, and he did a really good job. Like, this is Heather's favorite game of the entire set that we have, and we have all of it currently released. So far, it is her favorite by far, followed closely by Explorers. And then this feels like what it truly is, which is years of practice and going back and honing and refining a game that he was satisfied with, but knew it was not at the same level as his other games. And it really shows the attention to detail he took in taking his first game and revamping it and creating an entirely new iteration of the game while still using the same core bones. So that is all I really have. Comment down below if you have played it and if you like it, if you see all the differences in the game, that if you've played them both. So anyways, we will talk to you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.
If you like what you just saw, please support us by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more great gaming content.